You two be quiet on the set, please. No fighting. They're trying to discuss, oh, that's an ear hole, who the biggest star is of the show. But he's sitting right out here guarding things. He is. Hey, thank y'all for stopping by the barn, and whoo, it is a good day. But a question that has been ringing in my ear ever since I've been starting to do something with cast iron many years ago is, why is my cast iron flaking? We're going to walk you through the tips and the tricks to get all that took care of. But also, if you like this video on how we take these little quick tips and tutorials about cast iron, be sure to give it a like so we'll know what y'all want to see in the future. So let's get to fixing some cast iron flaking. So why is yours and mine cast iron flaking off? Well, folks, I'm fitting to tell you why. There is a thin coat of oil that is put on hot cast iron to get it to bond. Now, when it sets up in an oven like it's setting right now or on top of a burner, that oil bleeds to the bottom, runs off them sidewalls. But also something else that might cause that, if you have newly seasoned cast iron and you're using something acidic like tomato paste, barbecue base, citric acid, something like that, it will eat away at seasoning on new, freshly seasoned cast iron. If Shannon will zoom in here, you can see where this skillet has sort of peeled off there. Now that is my fault is what's going on because I hadn't been paying good attention. But folks, don't think this is something that you can't fix. It is. Some of it you'll be able to even see that you can flake off with your finger. But to cure this little disease, I just like to use some regular old table salt, and it don't take that much. You can see how much is in here, and it's not a whole lot. Now you can do this with your finger, but it will eat your fingerprints off. That way you won't get caught while you're in the kitchen, though, stealing some goodies that you wasn't supposed to have from your wife before you knew it. But you can do it with a piece of harness leather, a good soft towel, half of a potato that's cut in half. So just get it back over there on them edges and get to scrubbing that loose stuff off. Now, sure, salt is coarse, but it's getting this off. We're not hurting the rest of our seasoning. My cast iron sees a lot of salt scrubs through the time because to me is one of the least abrasive things that you can put on it that's really not going to hurt it. So when you think you've got it clean, and I don't see no more flaking coming off there, you can see that it's smooth, it's clean, I don't see no debris hanging on there. What's next? Dump it out. Not in the kitchen floor. You'll get in trouble. So we got her cleaned out of salt, we did, got her wiped off there pretty good. And you can see what I'm talking about, where all this flaking was. And it's smooth as a baby's butt right now and a Safeway chicken. So make sure you've got to loosen all that up and get every bit of it off. Now I need you to preheat your oven at this time to about 375, okay? I think that is a good round enough temperature that we can start. But hold on, I get people all the time asking me on YouTube, I can't ever follow your instructions on putting something in the oven because, number one, I don't own an oven. I live in an apartment. Well, if you live in an apartment or you've just lived in a place that's got a little oven, you can't get this in there, do you have a grill? Because you can do the same thing to this with a grill that's got a thermometer gauge on it. So we have got it rinsed out really good with warm water. Put it on a burner to let it dry to where it's just dry enough that you can touch it and warm enough that you can touch it. It ain't burning your fingers. Grapeseed oil. Now, I love grapeseed oil to build up a foundation that's going to take place and it's going to stick on them sides. But you say, hey, we're putting that on there and just like you said a while ago, it's going to run down there to the bottom and that's where it's going to puddle up. No, we're going to do this one a different way. So put your little oil in there and remember it don't take that much. People over season most of the time with oil and then they end up with what? An oil slick and a gunky mess. So get it wiped around there, get it up on them edges. And folks, this is probably not a one-time process. This is what you call periodic maintenance, especially on new cast iron. Now we have the oil around here everywhere. And if we just went ahead and put that on a burner, as that got hot, that oil would seep off them sides and it would end up just like it was. We're not being able to trap that oil on there. So either get you some aluminum foil and line the bottom oven rack and move the other one to the middle. And then I just want you to place this in there upside down. Now where's the oil running now, Shan? The viscosity and the perpendicular of the mass of the circumference of the world and the gravitational force, which way is this going?
The right way.
Yes, it is. So what oil we got on there now is going to be more apt to stick a hold of that or run down them sides that need it. That's why I want you to either put this in a cookie sheet Or make sure you put aluminum foil down there, because if you don't, the smoke alarm is going to go off in your house and you're going to get in bad trouble, and I don't want that to happen. Now the same thing would apply to that Hasty Bake grill right back there. It would be over indirect heat, not directly over the coals. And we're not trying to smoke it, so we need to add nothing but just heat. Set it in there, let it go for about 45 minutes to an hour, then let it cool off to room temperature all on its own. Now, remember, like I told you before, this is not a one-time process. This is going to have to happen many times as you go through the life of your cast iron. But once you get that seasoning built up and all that flaking took care of, you won't hardly have to ever do this again. So remember, the best thing that you can do is always know if it is really bad and you got something that salt won't get off there, guess what? We're going to take us an orbital sander or one of them little vibrating sanders with about some 80 to 100 grit paper and just run it right around that edge till everything is smooth and comes off, but then you have to repeat that process. Now, if you've got a bigger problem than that salt scrub will take out of there, be sure and check out our restoring cast iron video on how you can take care of this. Well, another question that's really pops up in nearly everything that we do about cast iron is people be telling me, say, I seasoned my cast iron and I was cleaning it and I be wiping it off and there was black residue on my rag. Well, folks, a lot of times that is maybe a little bit too much oil that's on there, but make sure every time you use it, after you've cleaned it, after you've re-seasoned it, to wipe any of that excess oil off. But a lot of times, even on finely polished, well-seasoned cast iron, the same thing happens. But don't worry about it. It's just some carbon deposits that maybe come off that oil or something about some food that was there. If it is a smooth surface and it is slick, hey, you on the right track. Now, folks, we hope you enjoyed this little video about cast iron and the flaking problem. But if you like this and you have other questions concerning your cast iron needs, be sure and give me a comment down there below so I'll know what future videos we might need to cover to all take care of this. As always, I tip my hat to all our servicemen and women and all the veterans who have kept that old flag a-flying everywhere and kept it safe. They mean the world to us. To the rest of you, oh, we're so glad you dropped by in here and check these videos out on Sunday afternoon. It is a great pastime and we hope to help you with some cast iron questions and some problems. I'm gonna give you a big old hug. And remember, your cast iron don't have dandruff, and if it's flaking, we can fix it. God bless y'all. Next, uh-oh, there went something. Hope it wasn't important. Really important things on that paper that I was doing. The corner. There it is, Mage. I'm gonna back up. Cowboy move.